Welcome to Everyday Dharma Talks, where silence becomes insight. I remember a small stream that ran behind the house, where I spent my childhood summers. It wasn't a mighty river, just a gentle current of clear, cool water that carved its way through the mossy stones and fallen leaves. To me as a child, it was a world of its own, and I wanted to control it. I decided one morning that I would build a dam. I had a grand vision. I would stop the water, create a deep pool where there was once a shallow, and direct the overflow exactly where I wanted it to go. I spent hours gathering the perfect materials. Flat, heavy stones for the foundation, handfuls of thick mud and clay to seal the gaps, and a collection of sticks and leaves to reinforce the walls. For a while it worked. The water began to pool behind my creation. I felt a surge of pride of power. I had imposed my will on nature. I watched the rising water level as proof of my success. I was the master of this tiny universe. But the stream had other ideas. The water, patient and persistent, began to find ways around my efforts. It seeped through tiny cracks I hadn't seen. It softened the mud I had packed so tightly. The pressure built not with anger or force, but with the simple, unchangeable reality of its own nature. It needed to move downstream. That was all it knew. I would patch one leak and another would spring. I would reinforce one wall, and the water would simply rise higher and spill over the top. I became frantic, running back and forth, scooping more mud, wedging more stones, fighting a battle against this gentle, relentless flow. I was getting tired, and I was losing. Finally, with a soft sigh of earth and water, a section of my dam gave way. The pool I had worked so hard to create emptied. In a rush and in moments, the stream was itself again, flowing as, moving around the very stones I had placed to stop, as if they were just another part of the landscape. I sat on the bank, covered in mud, defeated. All my effort, all my planning had come to nothing. My grandfather came and sat beside me. He didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't offer advice. He just watched the water with me. After a long silence, he pointed with a thin stick. "See that big rock in the middle?" He said. "The water never tries to break it. It just goes around." I watched. He was right. The water met the great stones, split gracefully into two currents, and rejoined on the other side without any struggle at all. It yielded, and in yieldings, it continued its journey unobstructed. It didn't fight the obstacle. It embraced it as part of its path. In that moment, sitting by my ruined dam, I understood something that had nothing to do with building things and everything to do with living. I saw that I was the dam builder, and life was the stream. I had been spending so much energy trying to force it into the shape I wanted, trying to control its direction and speed, only to end up exhausted and frustrated when life, in its patient and persistent way, simply continued to flow. The lesson was this: true strength is not found in rigid resistance, but in the profound wisdom of yielding. The ancient art of life is not about controlling the current, but about learning to flow with it, moving around the obstacles with grace, rather than trying to break them with force. We all build dams in our lives. We do it with our expectations, our rigid plans, our desperate need for control. We think that our happiness depends on life conforming to the blueprint we have designed. I will be happy when I get this job, when I find this relationship, when I achieve this outcome. Each of these conditions is a stone in our dam. The satisfaction we get when the dam holds, even for a moment, is real. It's the thrill of achievement, the pride of control. It feels like victory, but it is a fragile and demanding kind of satisfaction. It requires constant maintenance. We must always be patching leaks, reinforcing walls, and worrying about the ever-present pressure of reality that threatens to wash it all away. This is an exhausting way to live. It is the satisfaction of a firework, spectacular burst of light and noise that captures all of our attention, and then it's gone. We are left in the darkness, waiting for the next one, needing a bigger, brighter burst to feel the same thrill. True and sustainable satisfaction is different. It is not a firework, it is the sun. It isn't a loud momentary event. It is a quiet constant and life-giving presence. It doesn't come from forcing the world to bend to our will. It comes from aligning ourselves with the world as it is. This is the peace of the willow tree compared to the pride of the mighty oaks. In a great storm, the oak stands rigid, defiant, using all of its strength to resist the wind. And sometimes its strength is not enough. It cracks, it breaks. The willow, however, bends. It yields. It lets the wind pass through its branches. It flows with the force that opposes it. And when the storm is over, the willow is still standing. The satisfaction of the oak is in its resistance. The peace of the willow is in its surrender. One is a battle. The other is a dance. This deeper joy is not about giving up. Surrender is not passivity. It is the highest form of wisdom. An understanding that some forces are not meant to be fought but to be moved with. It is the quiet joy that arises when we stop fighting the stream. I invite you, just for a moment, to look at your own life with gentle honesty. Where are you building a dam? Where are you pouring all of your energy into holding back the water? Perhaps it is in a relationship where you are trying to change someone. Perhaps it is in your career, where you are clinging to a specific outcome that is causing you immense stress. Perhaps it is simply in your daily life, where you are frustrated that things are not going according to your perfect plan. Notice the feeling of this resistance. It feels like tension in the body, a clenched jaw, tight shoulders, a knot in the stomach. It is the feeling of holding on, of bracing against the flow. It is the exhaustion of the dam builder. The invitation is not to tear down the dam in one violent act. It is simply to stop building just for today, to lay down your tools of control and expectation, and to simply sit on the riverbank for a while. The advice is to change the fundamental question you ask yourself when you meet a challenge. We are conditioned to ask, how can I fix this? How can I control this? How can I make this the way I want it to be? This is the question of the dam builder. Instead, I invite you to ask a softer, wiser question: how can I move with this? When you meet an obstacle, an unexpected bill, a difficult conversation, a change of plans, see it not as a wall, but as a large stone in the river. Your first instinct may be to try and blast it out of the water. But what if you asked, how does the water deal with this? The water softens its edges. The water finds a new path around it. It accepts the stone's presence and continues its journey. How can I move with this? This question doesn't imply defeat. It implies wisdom, flexibility, and grace. It shifts you from a position of conflict to a position of flow. It is the beginning of learning to dance with life, rather than wrestling with it. This practice of flowing with life is not found in a grand gesture. It is cultivated in the smallest moments of our day. It is in these moments that we learn the ancient art of letting go. Think of being stuck in traffic. The dam builder grips the steering wheel, gets angry at the other cars, and fills their body with stress. They are resisting the reality of the moment. The one who flows, however, takes a deep breath. They might notice the color of the sky, the music playing on the radio, or simply the feeling of stillness. They accept that this is the situation right now, and they find peace within it instead of fighting it. They are not in control of the traffic, but they are in control of their response. Consider a conversation where someone disagrees with you. The instinct of resistance is to argue more forcefully, to prove your point, to win. The way of the river is to listen, to flow around their viewpoint, to seek to understand it without needing to defeat it. You don't have to agree, but you can let their words flow past you without building a wall of defensiveness. It's a rainy day, and you had planned to go for a walk outside. The dam builder feels irritation, disappointment. Their plan has been ruined. The student of the river sees an opportunity. They listen to the sound of the rain on the window. They feel the cozy comfort of being indoors. They make a warm cup of tea and find joy in the unexpected change of course. They have flowed with the weather, not fought against it. Even in the simple act of washing the dishes, you can do it with tension, rushing to get it over with resisting the task. Or you can feel the warmth of the water on your hands, see the gleam of the clean plate, hear the sound of the running faucet. You can be fully present with the flow of the simple mundane moment without struggling against it. Meaning is not waiting for you at the end of a perfectly executed plan. It is right here in your ability to meet this moment, whatever it holds, with an open and yielding heart. Thank you for following the podcast. We will meet again in the next story. Be well.